Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarita. Happy Monday. I am headed to work, so you've got me in fancy dress this morning. I have a double review of two candles from one company, which is Outdoor Fellow. I've talked about these candles before, and I hauled a couple of them. So one of them that I hauled was Juniper and Grapefruit, which kind of looks like this. It's pretty messy at this point for reasons that I will suggest in a minute. And then the other one that I was burning, and I did not haul this one for you, but I just got it, was a candle called Maui. And I bought this not only because it was on sale, but also because, for obvious reasons, with the various different fires in Hawaii, I just thought it was just a really nice candle to buy and at least emotionally kind of identify and send good wishes to people in the afflicted islands in Hawaii. So let's talk about them. All of Outdoor Fellow's candles come in a nice, like, pretty thick cardboard box. So the grapefruit one came in here. And then it's got this like coaster that goes on, sits on top of it, kind of creates a little natural lid and preserves it real nice. It tells you how to care for your candle, etc. So that was the box for this one. This one is beautiful. Look at Maui. Isn't Maui pretty? Look at that. Yeah. And again, it had like the coaster on it. So these are 8-ounce candles, and yeah, it's a plant-based wax. Does it say on here? I want to say that it's like coconut and apricot wax, but I could be wrong. I'm sorry, I should have reviewed that before I did this. I will, when I link the information down below, I'll make sure that I get that information correct about what kind of wax, but I think it's apricot and coconut. So yeah, these are the two candles. I actually bought these off of Macy's because right now Macy's has the Outdoor Fellow candles on their website, and this one was considerably on sale. I believe it still is, and it's also on sale on the Outdoor Fellow's website for $18.70, which I think is a pretty good price point, at least for me, for like a 1-wick 8-ounce. Otherwise they run $34. And we'll talk about it, but I think that might be a little pricey for what it is that it's offering. My comfort level, I think that these are strong, like $25 candles, and I prefer to pay under $20 for these. And everybody has a different like comfort level with that, but just the way that these performed, and these are the first two that I've burned from them, and I've got several others. So obviously I'm gonna have to reserve judgment a little bit till I get kind of a better sense of how they perform generally. So let's talk about Juniper and Grapefruit first, because this one was not successful and I can't recommend it. I was really hopeful about it because I love grapefruit and I love juniper and I love an herbal, and I was just really hoping for the best on this one. When I hauled it, I did say that it was dominated not by either of those notes, but by anise, actually. It's a beautiful, really gorgeous, sweet anise, you know, like the spice kind of candle. Oh, gosh, it's beautiful. And anise is listed as one of the notes. So it says, they list the notes right on the front: grapefruit, juniper, Valencia orange, bergamot, eucalyptus, anise seeds, forest pine, cedarwood, and musk. And on the website, it says that this candle is inspired by a cocktail that originates from the south of France. That cocktail is Genévre du Sud. I know I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, but it translates to junipers of the south, and I imagine that it's a really beautiful, like, citrusy grapefruit kind of cocktail, probably with maybe gin, because gin tends to be a little bit junipery, or from the juniper plant, with various other things. And the candle lists grapefruit, Valencia orange, and bergamot. And I said when I hauled it, it is odd that given the powerhouses of those particular citrus notes and the fact that they're all together, why would I not be getting any kind of citrus at all? Instead, it's that middle note, anise seeds, and that's pretty much all you smell. That said, I love anise, so I was kind of hoping that worst case scenario, it was just a really strong anise candle that I really liked. Unfortunately, just the performance on this was not good. The strength and throw was almost non-existent. I mean, I want to say that it was like in the 3 range, and that's after it had burned for hours. And that's the thing with these, with the circumference and with a single wick, you do need to burn for about 3 at least hours. I felt like 4 was kind of the sweet spot to make sure that it was pulling kind of all the way around. And I did successfully do that on Maui pretty far down, as you can tell. I've got probably about 1 more solid burn in the Maui candle. This one wasn't giving me anything. So at a certain point I switched. I've got a nice candle lamp. So I put it under the candle lamp thinking maybe I'll get a little more oomph out of it just from melting it as opposed to burning it. And unfortunately, I really didn't. Like, I think the first time that I warmed it, I was getting like maybe a 4. It was a marginal increase. And then subsequently after that, it was gone. It was just gone. Once it got kind of liquefied, the majority of it, whatever fragrance notes kind of lifted off. And I really, after that first warm, I could get hardly anything out of it. So I just really can't recommend this candle. I want to be able to, but I can't. It just has a strong anise, but that strong anise doesn't come across. I'm not really getting much of anything else from it. So at whatever price point, I really think this is probably not a good candle. It's a real miss. Maui was interestingly a really successful one for me. And because I got it cold, I didn't know what it smelled like. And when I opened it up, I was like, oh no, because it is very pineapple forward. And for me, it was just a little too sweet and a little too fruity. I tend to not like super sweet candles, and it's hard to do a pineapple candle without it being pretty sugary because pineapples are very sugary. And so if it's gonna be authentic at all, it's gonna have that quality to it. I love like eating pineapple, but I just wasn't sure I wanted a pineapple candle. That said, it was a fairly complex pineapple candle, and I could tell that when I smelled it. There was something else that was kind of cutting the sweetness a little bit and providing a little something else. It wasn't just straight up pineapple. Gosh, I almost sent it back. But then, like feeling like maybe I should burn a Maui candle for the citizens of Maui, and like it overtook me and I just went ahead and burned it. And I'm so glad that I did, because this one performed great, with the exception of some sooting later in the candle, performed fantastic. It ended up being a great transitional fragrance because the pineapple aspect of it was still a little bit tropical. And for those of us who are still experiencing 95 degrees outside, there's something kind of authentic about still burning something that's a little bit true to hot weather. It's as much as I want to burn pumpkin spice right now, it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like we've got a strong green light for that. So it was a great transitional candle. And I'm happy to say that the other aspects of the candle that are not pineapple really came out beautifully and made it a kind of fragrance that was, yes, identifiably pineapple and sweet, but also, even for me, very palatable and lovely in its own right. So there's a lot of notes listed here. Pineapple tree is number 1. So it's not just the pineapple, but it's the pineapple tree. And I think that's apropos because there are a lot of other green elements here. Then we have pine needles, lavender, amber, lava, ash. It's a little bit too much. No, we don't want the fire there. Earthy oak moss, sandalwood, and patchouli. And then on the website, it said that this candle will transport you to the lush forests and black sand beaches of Maui with top notes of juicy pineapple, mid of fiery lava ash, and bottom of earthy oak moss. So those 3 are kind of called out. And I do think that that's correct, although I'm not getting anything smoky from this particular fragrance. Mainly, I would say the pineapple, the moss, and I think pine in the middle. And actually, pine with pineapple is actually a really good combination. I don't know that you could call out or identify either the moss or the pine needles without looking at the list of notes. Really, the only identifiable thing is pineapple, but like I said, there's something kind of green and maybe vaguely herbal that is kind of cutting the really super uber sweetness of the pineapple when it's burned. And it's just really lovely. It just has a greater depth and complexity than you would expect from a pineapple candle. And I really love it. It works well. Almost there's a little bit of a perfumey or a fragrance in more of a like floral kind of way, even though there's no real floral listed. And it could be partly like the amber and the patchouli, especially if it's a high perfumey dry kind of patchouli that is giving it that like fragrant, almost perfumed pineapple and greenery feel. It's kind of clean and fresh in a way that you wouldn't expect. So I thought it was fantastic. And then the one wick, granted, I put it in the master bedroom because I think these are good bedroom candles. Close the door, and honestly, after a 3-hour burn, I could get a strong 6 or 6.5. And for that being in a single wick, I was very happy with that, 6 or 6.5. There are a lot of other bigger candles that I have with multiple wicks that are struggling to meet that 6.5 benchmark. That should not be the case, by the way. But I am very happy for a single wick to be in that 6.5 region. I don't know that you can expect a whole lot more from a single wick than that. And this definitely met it. I think that a lot of people would really like this candle. There was sooting. I think this probably has more to do with the carbon residue, because if you're burning it for 3 or 4 hours, that wick is gonna get big. The mushroom top is gonna get like prominent. And I think that's where the majority of the sooting came. Most of the sooting was along this side and it happened in one burn, which also makes me think that there might have been a draft that like pushed the flame into the glass. I don't know that it's necessarily indicative of a very dirty candle. Just be aware of that. Otherwise, I'm very happy with how it burned. And I just made sure to do about 4 hours to make sure it was really liquid all the way around so that I would not tunnel, because you don't want that ever. And I think that burning it for 3 or 4 hours is not only within the realm of possibility, it's ideal for a candle like this to make sure that it just doesn't tunnel. Obviously, early burns are especially important in that respect, so devote some time. I like these candles. Like I said, for me personally, it seems to me that they are more like $25 candles. I think that is probably where the price point should be. I think 34 is pushing it in terms of what it is that you're getting. While the boxes are nice, they're very sturdy, they're recyclable, and especially on some of these destination limited ones are really lovely. You don't present the box in your house. Instead, you present the vessel. And these particular labels here are a little on the cheap side, to be honest. They're not quite up to par with the sophistication even of the boxes. So you have to take that into consideration. I might think about taking the box away and figuring out how to put a lid on it. I would imagine that it's not negligible expense to put forward those boxes. So maybe invest that capital in a lid of some kind, even if it's a fairly basic one, and a more sophisticated looking label. And I think that that's value added. It will be perceived value added, which will make this, I think, a better purchase for most. And I'd like to see them perform just a little bit better. I suspect, though, that there are some that have great strength and throw and others that don't. So I don't know that at any price point this candle would be acceptable. But I think at a certain price point, this one absolutely would be. And as I said in the earlier haul with them, I'm impressed. I'm impressed so far, even just the ones that I've smelled, with the sophistication of fragrance and the careful and thoughtful balance of all of those different notes. These are sophisticated scents. You want to see that in more of a premium candle. And if it comes with good performance, very strong strength and throw, I do think you can ask $25 for a candle like this, maybe even pushing it to 30, but obviously we're all happy when we can get it less than that. So this one is clearanced off right now, even on the Outdoor Fellow website. It's $18.70, which I think is a really good price for it, and I can highly recommend it. And I think it's a really good transitional candle for most people's weather right now. And if you're on the Outdoor Fellow website, they will actually send you to Amazon to complete your transaction if you want to, and it's $18.70. So I don't even think you have to pay shipping on it. So I can really highly recommend this, and I think a lot of people will like it. So yeah, that's what I've got for you guys. I'm going to keep up the Outdoor Fellow candles. I have one that's campfire, that's smoky and cool, and I think it's going to be perfect for fall, and a few others as well. So stay tuned on those reviews. I'm definitely going to burn a good number of them, and then at the end be able to make, I think, a more informed judgment about the way that I'm experiencing these candles. Thank you so much, my friends, and I will see you in the next one.